I've got these Caribbean red habanero hot peppers. I'm about to take all the ripe ones now because they're so abundant, and I'm gonna make habanero powder. I just briefly watched a video. I'm gonna watch another one or two to see what temperature to put these in my dehydrator overnight. I think my dehydrator has a temperature gauge on it, so I want to be sure. And then they'll be dried out, dehydrated, and then the guy used a coffee grinder to grind them up. Just picked all my habaneros that were ripe. Now I'm gonna put them in my dehydrator for 24 hours and put it at 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And when they're done, I'll take them out of there and grind them up. I'll clean up my coffee grinder and just put them in there. I'm trying to be careful how I touch stuff and what I touch. I just cut up these habaneros and I picked most of the seeds out because the seeds are extra hot with all the seeds. I guess the seeds are real potent with the heat. I'm thinking I'm gonna leave a bunch of them in. I like that heat. You gotta be careful with that powder too. You don't want to get that dust blowing around and all up in your eyes. I don't know how I'm gonna get all this off my hands, but my hands are deadly right now. They're in. Close the door, latch it up. I'll come back when it's all ready tomorrow night and grind it up in the powder. It's been about 18 hours and they're dry. They're done. Day 4 of hardening off the plants, the starts. I figured I would mention that they're out here now in this rain. This rain is really nice. I love the rain. It's giving them nitrogen. Peppers, tomatoes, peppers, brassicas, tomatoes, asparagus, tomatoes, brassicas, tomatoes, and brassicas, which is cabbage and broccoli, cannabis, tomatoes, some bean plants. Those were from the indoor grow room, but I'll see if I can put them out here somewhere, and some cucumbers there too. And here's more tomatoes, asparagus, celery, red acre cabbage, brassicas and tomatoes and celeries, and that looks like, what's that, an apple tree? That here is more cabbage, brassicas, a tomato, brassicas, tomatoes, brassicas, tomatoes, and brassicas and tomatoes and celery and cannabis. You like those? There's some kales, and there's some brassicas and tomatoes, and boom, what's up? Here's some apple trees. I just put in these brassicas all up in here. It's a little early through the hardening off process still, but they were looking too tight in their cups, like the roots needed to grow, and I think it's going to be okay because it's going to be cloudy. We're 5 days in. 10 to 14 days is typically what you want for the hardening off process, and I'm 5 days in, but they felt like they needed to go in now, and we'll get an overcast for the next, well, 4 or 5 days. Over here in my strawberry patch, I let one of my rabbits, the mini Rex, run around outside, and she was just picking up leaves. She's right there, and I think she just dug a hole and she's getting ready to have babies out here, which I think I'm gonna let her because it's really, really special, actually. And these strawberries are coming in so thick. There's so much in here, it's insane. Just planted them 2 years ago. And then these raspberries are popping out the side of the pit here, which I gotta finish still. It's still early in the season. It hasn't even really started yet. I got these projects almost done. Well, halfway. This is a raspberry, another one. I'm about to get close over here and see if I can look. She was just scooping leaves. It was the cutest thing in the world. She made herself right at home. Absolutely incredible, really. She's like always in my neighbor's yards, over there, and over there, and over there, and in my front yard, and they're just cool. So, what are you doing, Mama? Can I see? Oh, nice. Look at your rabbit hole. Look at you. Would you look at you? Where are you going? What are you doing in there? Are you about to put babies in my strawberry patch? Oh my goodness. Or did you already? Oh, you might have already. I didn't even think about that yet. Can I look? Wow, Mama, let me see if I can get a light on in there. Nice. Well, I don't see any, but I'm gonna leave her be now. So what I want to do is fence this whole perimeter in with the rabbit fence. It's like a hardware cloth, 1/4 inch. Start at the corner there because everywhere else is good, and then go all the way around. Dune. Back there's already done, so it's really just there. And then I gotta do the garden areas too, so they can't get into the garden. And then they can be out here and they can cut my grass for me, and it supplements their feed for sure. Another strawberry patch in my little backyard here. Got all my starts hardening off up there on the deck, and then the under the deck chicken coop. The pond, I gotta correct one of the seams. It was slowly leaking down there, so I gotta put some more tar tape, pond sealing tape on that, and then fill it. I'm in no rush. And I just put beans in here and peas around the back, so they can grow up the trellis. I gotta hit the beans in here too. Peas are already in on this side. Then potatoes are in here from last season's potatoes. I had like 5 different varieties planted through here. I still got a patch here. I put my asparagus in now too. So hopefully that'll do well. On day 5 of the hardening off process, I went ahead and put this stuff in. So hopefully it all does well still. I think it will. It thickened up and got pretty green just over the last couple days. And that's what a lot of what counts when you're looking at your starts. Garlic from last season, put it in there. I'm gonna plant something back there, and potatoes in there. I got a ton of potatoes, just a ton. I gotta get them everywhere. I'm focusing on like staples, bulk amounts, the beans, the bush beans, the potatoes, and winter squash. I gotta get those in the ground too. I got peppers, tons of peppers and tomatoes. I gotta find a spot for too, so that's gonna be fun. But there is areas still all around, and I can make more areas. I still got so much room here. Everywhere there's grass, it could be transformed with raised beds for the most part. Just gotta leave enough area to walk through. So it's just never ending. Even on this small little property, you know, you're blessed. If you got a yard, you gotta get out there and just utilize it. These are blackberries. These are the maggot buckets. They're starting to get pretty stinky, which is good. because that should mean maggots soon. And then I'll throw some more straw over top, or bedding, or wood chips, or leaf litter, and that will block most of the smell. Should block all the smell. And then I'm going to string them. I hang them on strings. Temporary pond for now, which is just the swimming pool until the pond gets done, so they can do this, keep the hose running, and it keeps it full as they splash all the water out. I'm in the process of painting my house. Well, I just power washed it, so now I'm getting ready to caulk it, seal it all up, do the prep work, and then paint it all color match, but get it crispy. It's another job I'm doing, starting to try to get done for this week coming up, to paint this week. The birdhouses, I got birdhouses. I put 4 of them up last year. I could probably move that one, and yeah, maybe just that one, because it's so close to where I walk, and the birds might be more comfortable in the yard or somewhere else. But they should use them. They should use them. Bluebirds. That's, I believe, what's going to find their way in there, or should let them be, and let the birds live in harmony with your garden and the ecosystem, so they can take care of pests and things. I got these bricks out here, getting ready to do my wood burning stove, and put these down as a hearth, and it's going to be pretty cool. I got to get a saw. I got to cut for the legs of the stove. I pulled raspberries from out there at my raspberry bushes. They sprouted up new little, well, plants, and I pulled them out the ground, and they should reroot in there in those cups, and then I'll transplant them once they get a bit of more root system going. Just raked this out and cleaned it. Down in here is I'm gonna plant some food. I just laid, this is rabbit and duck manure from the colony where they all live. That's got to get turned in a little bit, and then that'll prep that area for growing something. That raised bed there is going to get potatoes, is what I'm thinking. On here the rabbits will graze. That's what they do. So they come in from their bucket tunnel. And the ducks. There's all the cabbages and broccolis I just planted today. Transplanted. And the garlic next to it, and there's asparagus right there, and then these are potatoes in this row up into about there, and I gotta plant something else in there, and then there's beans all back there on the ground in front of the trellis. Peas are gonna grow on the trellis. Then the pond, woodpile, compost, strawberries, apple trees. Some more wood there I gotta cut up. Back there is where I'm gonna put squash and peppers, and right there is potatoes in that raised bed. Here is the pit. It's got to get done still, and then I'm gonna plant stuff all in there. And then this is like my berry patch for the most of my berries. Strawberries, blackberries, and there's blueberries at every cross section down this fence actually, but the rabbit chewed on them a little bit, so I gotta see. They'll probably still come up. It's just gotta section this all off with hardware cloth so the rabbits can't get into any of these garden areas, and they can graze. And then the duck house, well, it's a duck swimming area, which is the rabbit chickens tractor. I've put rabbits and chickens in there, and it scoots around the yard, but right now it's docked. I built a little thing so it can dock, and then they can come in and out and use it, the ducks can, until the pond is done. And then that over there is another yard with the chickens and the rabbits, but here is the ducks and the rabbits. So they're 2 separate sections operating out of this garage. And here are like some arches. I don't have anything on them yet, but I'm planning on building like a raised bed section out front of it, is what I'm thinking there. And that will allow me to plant squash or anything that climbs up on this. And then I'm going to do another one right there, just enough to have an area to plant, and then I can still get through here. So that was the idea with the bucket tunnel, was to have the rabbits access over here, but how if I don't have a way to get through? That was the whole thought. So I did that, and then a layer of bedding down here so I can walk on this when it gets wet, it doesn't get muddy. A bunch of buckets. I have tons of buckets for my maggot buckets that I'm going to string up, and then string up some in here too for these guys, or these girls, under the deck coop. How clean my feet are here in the grow room. These cucumbers on this side aren't really producing any fruit. Strange, this variety didn't want to produce anything. But over here, look at this. Boom! And then there's more coming in, another one there, another one here. Probably somewhere else. They like pop up in front of your eyes when you least expect it. There's some there. They're coming in, and I'm really excited about that. I may just eat this one tonight. That's what I'm thinking anyway. And a pepper or two. I have these moringa seeds. I'm gonna get these going tonight too. In the front yard, I have lawn where I'm gonna put in trees and the raised beds and stuff still this year, and to do a lot of work up here where I haven't even really broke ground yet. A little bit, but not so much. And I got a push mower manual that will collect the grass clippings, and I'll use the grass clippings for animal feed and to make my pelleted feed and all that. So that's really cool. That's going to be here tomorrow, and I can get to doing that. What else? Oh, my first dandelion came in over here in my strawberry patch that I noticed. I actually just noticed a bunch up front, but this is the first one that caught my eye and my attention. And I'm gonna pop it and I'm gonna eat it. Just gonna eat it. I'm gonna rinse it or wash it off. Why not? But then I'm gonna eat it. There you go. Yes. Check that out, huh? How abundant. How beautiful. Most people just spray it with I'm gonna let that soak for a minute, get all the chemtrails off it, and then I'm gonna eat it. Just collected what was up in my front yard for the dandelions. Now I got them here, and I'm just gonna soak them, and I'm gonna eat them. Don't forget to garden at night with a headlamp. I noticed that out there, when you have a headlamp on at night, you're maximizing your time. It's cool, and things glow. The light, the way that it shines on things, it makes them, like, especially the plants, the living plants, they literally like glow with this life force. It's actually, it's amazing. It's miraculous. And the animals' eyes, I noticed the dogs. So dogs' eyes, they glow and they light up blue. I noticed the rabbits are like a amber purple, and it's just beautiful. It's amazing, really. I think I heard cats' eyes red, perhaps, but I don't know about the ducks yet. I gotta look closer and see. Even with the chickens, I gotta see how the light, because the light off of their eyes, and it makes their eyes illuminate. So that's a sweet thing. It's crazy out here, like Electroverse.